some resistance. Keep it up. You got this. Begin the fourth effort. Add some resistance. some resistance. Take a drink. Keep up the good work. Good. Recover. Take a drink and stay hydrated. Three, two, one. Begin the sixth effort. Now add some resistance. Push yourself just a little more. You're doing great. You got this. Focus now. You can do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go! Keep pushing. Recover. Well done. Take a drink. seventh effort. Add some resistance.
Jak Wojtek?
Dobra. Dobra, będziemy. No, to tak jak tam. 1,5 kilometra i wjazd. O, to jest fajnie.
Wojtek, wolniej. O kur...
recently resurfaced, Es Verge has been reborn, and, hot take incoming, it might just be the best climb on the entire island. A golden road that winds 4 kilometers skyward through 21 tight hairpins, framed by towering boulders and ancient olive trees. The views are pure cinema, with each bend revealing more of the valley below. The average gradient sits just under 9%, steeper than the typical Mallorcan climb, hard enough to test your legs, but consistent enough to stay in a rhythm. A rewarding, steady effort rather than a full-blown sufferfest. It ends officially at the famous Es Verge Lamb restaurant, a rustic stone building nestled onto the hillside with a sleepy courtyard. There's little through traffic here, just hikers, mercifully oblivious sheep, and now a steady stream of cyclists. But the climb doesn't have to end there. Beyond the restaurant, the smooth tarmac gives way to rubble, gravel and broken rock once more, a brutal reminder of Es Verge's former self. The road continues to climb towards the ruins of the Castell de Alaro, offering a tougher, more rugged extension for those who want to push deeper into the island's wild side. So whether you stop at the restaurant or carry on to the chaos, Es Verge is 2 climbs in one, the smooth and the savage. A modern classic, a fitting place to begin, and a road worth riding before the crowds catch on. To encounter our next beast, we must first travel west, deep down into the folds of the Tramontana, a place seemingly designed to win a bet between the engineers. You'll miss it turn just south of Esporles on the M810, and it's a sharp drop off the ridge into a twisting descent along a concrete concertina, plunging down through pine trees and coastal crags towards a sleepy port. Reach the end of the road and the only way out is back up. Much like Sacalobra and the Port de Valdemossa, this is a dead-end road, and beats those better-known climbs into today's list due to sheer volume of hairpins, its hard-working PR team, and seriously steep maximum gradients. Though the average sits at 6.5%, that number is sandbagged by a downhill section near the top. Ignore that and you're looking at long ramps over 14%, stitched together by tight blind corners that come with such regularity that it borders on comical. But in between the suffering, sea views are visible throughout the climb, rarely more than a quick glance over the shoulder away, and traffic is nearly non-existent. A climb that's wild, obscure and barely visited, but once you've been, it's unforgettable. Most climbs in Mallorca feel like they were designed with cyclists in mind. The Comuna de Banyoles isn't one of them. Found just outside the mountain town of Banyoles, this climb is perhaps better suited to a gravel bike or even a mountain bike, but with a bit of confidence and a spare inner tube, roadies can just about manage. At 7 kilometers and a 6.3% average, it doesn't sound that intimidating, but stats mean little here. This climb is all about the road surface. Loose rocks, dust, exposed roots. On the steepest hairpins, the gravel gives way to ungenerously cambered slabs of concrete, but don't relax. These sections come with deep drainage gaps just waiting to catch an unsuspecting tyre. You'll want to be on high alert as you pick your line up this climb, a constant weave between sharp rocks and furrows, anything to keep you upright and your tyres intact. A seated climb is your best bet in this instance. Getting out of the saddle is a recipe for your rear wheel to skid as you lose traction on the loose terrain. The climb winds up into the forest hills above Banyoles with sunlight flickering. Next up, we're back on tarmac and heading to the quiet roads outside Pollença Old Town, in the north of the island. Heading to a climb so low-key you might struggle to find it, and you may wonder if you're even allowed to be there. You are, just stop before the gate at the top. This is the Vall de Colonia, and is one of the steepest climbs on the island, and one that no one is talking about. Just under 4 kilometers long, a modest 7% average, but don't let the numbers fool you, this climb is a Norse answer to Sobraman. This climb is vicious. After an easy first kilometre or so, it kicks, and then never really lets up. It has long straights that can feel like climbing a sheer wall, sharp corners and ramps that shoot over 15 and sometimes even 24%. The tarmac is narrow, shaded and winding, offering brief glimpses out towards Pollença Bay if you dare look up from your stem. You won't find signs, you won't find cyclists, just a lonely road on the Tramontana's perimeter, rising through farmland and forest daring you to take it on. You can reach it easily enough from the cycling hubs of Alcudia and Port de Pollença. Just head out of Pollença on the Camí de Can Bosc and keep climbing. This would make for a great little extension to the Garage Loop or even a lighthouse ride. And since you'll have no choice but to descend it, please take caution. It's narrow with tight turns and extreme steepness that can feel more ski slope than bike path. I don't think it's likely to be a regular occurrence, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the first time I rode here, I had to bunny hop a very large snake traversing the road, further solidifying the case for the Vall de Colonia as one of Mallorca's most extreme climbs.
Beautiful. Love it.
take off.
Heading down on Lakeshore Drive. Da 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 bum. Okay. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Okay. There's Bennett, when do we climb? How about there? Sorry, so sorry.
We can go on the beach trail. Let's go left here. You don't have to go on the high bike.
Left? Are we allowed to?
Just stay on the right.
Okay.
Is this all right, or you want the high bike trail?
I just don't want to get people mad.
No, they won't get. Boat up above?
No.
We would have blown by it anyway. That's why I got on it going when I thought it touched
Right.
I always like being near the water.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the breeze.
Yeah, you can look at that red flag. The wind is that fast.
Yeah, that was crazy coming up. It was I was like,
was
this
good
is like
exercise.
this was like riding up a hill in
Yeah,
Jerusalem.
we're used to the hill.
I know, that's what it felt like. But a different knee angle.
You need that nice season. I think if you maybe move your feet a little where the front of your feet are on the pedal.
Then I have to raise the seat.
No, but you don't change it. You just change where your feet are on the pedal.
No, but then I'll be too low. I need to raise the seat.
Pedal with the balls of your feet instead of the middle of it.
I know, but then my knees are too bent. I'm trying to get my legs straight. I gotta raise the seat.
Oh, God, no.
I gotta raise the seat to do that.
There's the boat now. It's a big boat.
Oh, that. No way did I see that.
Yeah. That's just... Yeah.
All right. I've been to that beach house. I remember it. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. Yeah.